Welcome to another episode of the Story of Podcast. I'm your host, Kwam, and today we're going to hear the story of...
Woo. Call me Woo. Mr. 910,
Wait, what's
you can call me
910?
Woo. Well, it's something I was going to get to a little bit later.
Okay,
It's
okay.
basically just a little rebrand. One of my brands I have going and everything. Just changed around some stuff.
Okay.
Actually about to go ahead with the official rebrand, like the launch of the rebrand fall, next
This
couple
fall?
weeks. Yeah, this fall.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been working on that all year. So yeah, Mr. 910. But yeah, you can call me Will.
Okay, bet. Okay. Are you nervous to be being interviewed by me?
Well, I'm always excited to talk to you.
Likewise.
This is definitely, I've done a couple interviews, my main thing, I'm always thinking like, where do I look? Do I look at you? Do I look at the camera?
Okay, good question, because listen, guys, so let me just say really quick. This is the season finale of my first season of the Story of Podcast, and it was a lot of fun. I feel like I'm really thankful that everybody who's come on was brave enough to come on. But some tips. Don't look at the camera. Look at me, because this is a conversation. The camera's just like a fly on the wall type thing. Okay. It's just like a one-on-one sort of thing. Okay. So anybody coming next season and all the other seasons to come, please don't be looking at the camera, because it looks awkward. It looks weird. I'm looking at them and they're looking over here. So yeah, you could look at me and yeah.
All right, bad. So we got that out of the way.
We got that out of the way. Get comfortable.
Oh, God, where's my phone? Oh dear God, help us. All right, edit that out.
I actually might keep it, right?
Yeah,
it's authentic.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Mr. Wu 910 and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from? Yeah, let's start with that.
Well, originally born, out in San Diego, California. Came here when I was a youth, what I'm saying? Got to experience a little bit of both, but I grew up here. This is what I call home, Hartford.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm from Hartford by way of San Diego.
Yeah. Do you remember at all living on the West Coast?
For sure. Spent enough time out there, more so when I was older, to be able to kind of refer back to it, to really be able to be oh yeah, I know where Woody Woo is, or whatever. But as far as coming up, it was predominantly my meaningful time was spent here. So growing up, being a little kid and all that, I can't say oh yeah, I remember this from maybe little glimpses and stuff, but my main core memories are here.
Mm-hmm.
They're here. So, I call this home, but I always got to acknowledge San Diego too.
Yeah.
Because when the time I have been able to spend out there, especially, being older and everything, that helped me appreciate it even more, kind of a going back to the roots type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And growing up, did you grow up and I might also ask some questions that I kind of already know, just to get them the fly on the wall to understand more.
The other people listening.
The others. Did you grow up an only child? Did you have a lot of siblings? Anything like that?
No. Well, I am an only child. I'm my mother's only child.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a brother on my father's side. But we didn't grow up together or anything. And he's a lot younger than me too. But yeah, I grew up an only child. It's for all intents and purposes. I'm an only child. So.
At what age did you discover that you had another sibling?
I want to say I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was 18. It was.
Was it a mind?
So all right. Yeah, without getting into the nitty gritty of it, it was just I was at work. It was my first it was.
You found out at work?
Yeah, so it was a summer not a summer internship, but no, it was a summer internship through the school I had graduated from, High School Inc. Shouts out to High School Inc. It no longer exists, but still forever in our hearts or whatever. But I was at an internship, so I was at United Health names. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay, United Healthcare. I was in the banking department, and I was sitting there getting ready to clock out one day, and I get these calls from this 619 number. So I'm okay, and that's San Diego area code if you see that. So that's one of the area codes. So I'm getting that call. I'm all right, who's calling me from out there? Because I didn't have nobody checking on me from out that way. You know what I'm saying? So I let it go to voicemail. Got to listen to the voicemail. Then this little kid like, hey, I'm your little brother. Da, 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 da. This is my name. Our dad really wants us to talk. So yeah, you should. I was just like, oh, okay.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
Why didn't it? I mean, you probably don't know, but like, wouldn't the dad have wanted to call and like first, like?
And that's what you would think would happen, but that's not how it went. So
Yeah.
it was kind of weird, and I was like, "Is this a prank?" Like.
Yeah, right. I would have thought that. I would have hung up, honestly.
I didn't even pick up. This was a voicemail. I'm just like,
yeah.
Okay. And so like I got another call like later on in the same day, and that I had like caught that one because I was like, all right, what's going on with this? And that's when it was like, oh yeah, I'm your little brother, and then I was like.
The voice is killing me.
I mean, he was like 8, so
Yeah.
it was like this little 8-year-old, hey, I'm your little brother. And I'm like, you're telling me 8-year-old stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, this is interesting. Nice.
Good
nice.
to know.
Yeah. Don't know what to do with it, but cool.
Yeah,
cool.
right.
So, it's what it is. But, I can't say I didn't know, so that's when I found it.
And did you guys like kind of build a bond since then, as much as you can, I guess?
We more so when he got a little older. By the time he was like 15, we were like speaking, and we I'd go ahead and like give him little pieces of advice from just what he was telling me. He was experiencing and stuff like that growing up out there. Came up a little bit rougher than I had to come up. So, definitely just gave him some advice, some words of wisdom from, experiences I've had, and, different walks I've taken steps along. So just kind of giving him some game, just some stuff like, look, you're still young, go ahead, make sure you handle this, that, and the third. Here's how you get to this. You ever need help, just let me know if I got you. And we met when I was...
Like in person?
Yeah, we met in person when I was 20. I can't remember how old I was when we met, but we met in person. He was still a little, he's still younger, I think he was just like done like 17 or 18, something like that. So, we haven't spoken in a while. Hopefully he's doing, well. But, I wouldn't say we have like a relationship per se, but we're definitely aware of each other. We know how to reach each other, that sort of thing. So, yeah. Yeah,
I mean, that's nice though. Yeah. Like, I guess, to have another sibling.
Yeah, I mean, I had grown up without it, so I wasn't really like missing it. Yeah. So I wasn't really missing it. Like all my hopes of like having a sibling had kind of died by the time I was 11. So I was like, all right, we'll just get used to being just me, So, it was interesting for sure though. Definitely interesting.
So with that being said, your dad not grew up, but lived over there while you were growing up over here?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so like he and my mother, they had gotten divorced when I was 3 months.
Oh, 3 months.
Yeah. So I believe that, or either that's when it was like started or whatever. 3 months. That's when I came back over here. As an infant. And that's when everything kind of went downhill from there for them.
Yeah.
They're fine. So that's the best thing. But yeah.
Did you ever ask your mom why she chose here of all places to move?
Really, it was just because her family, that's where she's from.
Okay.
She was born here. Her parents, she's a first generation Jamaican, so she came here. My grandparents were already here. They had built their life. She was born and raised. And really, actually, when we were coming back, it was in order to, for me to meet my grandparents. So it was just kind of funny how everything ended up, that we ended up staying out here. But that wasn't the plan. But that's how things worked out. And I feel like it worked out for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like everything happens for a reason. So I don't know. I feel like it literally was kind of written already this way for it to happen this way for you.
For sure.
Pretty much.
Everything is what it's supposed to be, and everything that's supposed to be in the future is going to be that. So, I mean, my as far as like how I see, like, sometimes people, I don't know if that's what you're going to ask, but like sometimes people would be like, okay, so your dad wasn't in your life. So like, would you like want to start a relationship with him and all? I'm open to everything. I don't have any particular, anything that is like closed off. It's all, if that's what's supposed to happen, that's what'll happen. I'm fine with that. I'm open to it. If not, I mean, that's fine too. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
That's what was supposed to happen. So
Yeah.
it's all good either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you gave that insight, but I actually wasn't gonna ask that because that's too basic of a question.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I feel like everybody wants to know that when you say you didn't grow up with your dad or you don't really know them like that, but it's like, who gives like, that's how I feel.
Honestly.
I was gonna ask though, how was it for you being like the man of your house growing up? Because in my opinion, obviously I'm not a man, but hearing that, like, hearing black families put that on their like son, if it's like the only son or like the oldest son or whatever, I don't know, I always kind of feel like it's just not really fair, like, because it kind of sometimes can not allow the boy when he's a boy to just be a kid and like do his own thing. But for you, it kind of really was that. So how was that experience for you?
Well, so it was weird. So I wouldn't say growing up it was that per se, because I was fortunate enough that my mom, she had her parents still here living. They were elderly, of course, but you figure my grandfather, he was alive up until I was 17, and well, 16 technically, and my grandmother, she had just passed. We actually just reached the 3 year mark. So I was able to. He still was the man of the house. Like he was blind, but that was like really the only thing. He was still sharp. He was still able to teach me certain things as far as how to maneuver as a man, how to deal with people, how to approach people. That sort of thing. So I didn't have to do that. Now, as far as that goes, for like the emotional backbone, all those other things. People always think of like the financial when it comes to being like the man of the house, and it's like you got to be there in like so many other ways.
Yeah, that's honestly the last I think of for
honestly,
a kid,
honestly. So like, but I did realize like early enough that there was like financially, there were certain things that were already tied up in the house. A lot of it because my grandparents wanted to put it into me, whether it was invested in my schooling or whatever the case was. So when it came to like excess money or like pocket money, stuff like that, I never really asked for much. I really always found ways to get to it myself. So as far as growing up in that way, by the time I was like 13, I was doing that. But I didn't really have to step into the role of the man of the house until I was about 16. My grandfather, he had passed like 10 days before my 17th birthday. So, that was a whole thing. And then, of course, there's a whole, just the presence in the house is different. So, my mother, she's down. That's her dad. My grandma, that's her husband. I forgot how long they were together. It was it was a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, kind of like having to step up like, okay, I'm going to have to like, communicate differently in these ways, or I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm maneuvering certain things these ways, or making sure that I know that I'm mentally, emotionally, and my time is available if anything in that house needs me, and that became especially true once my grandmother started declining in health. I had to do a lot more hands-on care, with my mother as well. My mother, she had went back to college after I had graduated high school. So, what my grandmother needed and the help she did, and literally it was like 24/7 care. I had to drop out of school because I started college. I was at Central, but I had to go back home, help out with that. So that's when I would say like it went from even that phase it was like when I was 16 to like really being like, oh nah, like you're really like in the thick of it. You know what I'm saying? So that was by the time I was like 21. So from that point, it was pretty much like all I really understood was like responsibility. Like I understood it from a younger age, I guess you could say that. But like as far as being responsible for other people and like just like literally like other people's lives, and then the financial aspect did start to come in. So that's when all of that really kicked in. As far as how it was, I mean, it's one of those things where you look at it and you realize it's a lot, but like it's just kind of like with me being the only child, the only man who was like really of any close kin to my mother, and at the time, my grandmother. It's like if not me, then who? So I just kind of had to like think about it. It's like did it suck sometimes? Sure, I mean you're young, and especially being 29. Being 29 now, I look at how young that was, and it's like, oh damn, like that was A lot.
For someone that age, yeah.
A lot. But like, some people would sit there and be like, oh, it's not fair. I should have da da da. It's one of those situations where you just do what's asked of you for your situation. In the ideal world, you don't have to do certain things, but we don't live in that. So you can either sit there and sulk and lick your wounds, and it's still gonna happen. You're just gonna be more miserable through it. Or you could figure it out and be like, all right, well, would I prefer for things to be this way? Sure, of course not. Nobody in this situation would. You know what I'm saying? Like, my grandmother would rather be able to do for herself, would rather be able to not need help all hours of the day. She's an independent woman, My mother, she would rather be able to do whatever she wasn't able to do at the time, but that's not where we are, so we don't, we're a family. At the end of the day, we're gonna figure it out. So that's just how I saw it. And it's still how I see it. If I could rewrite how things went and all that, sure, there are certain things that, not really for my benefit, to be completely honest, really for everybody else's benefit, because I could see being in that situation and from a younger age, it's like you're able to see how everything's connected very vividly, very clearly, and you understand how your actions impact another person's, or how whatever's going on with them impacts you, if you care about them, if you give about them, you know what I'm saying? So, and especially if they're your family. So there are certain things that if I had control of the situation, if I could turn back the hands of time somehow, sure, I'd make certain things better for other people. May it have benefited me? Sure. It could have also altered things in another way. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I just take it as it is. And I just am grateful that I was able to handle it. That, I still have a lot of responsibilities at this point in my life too, even when it comes to my mother and certain stuff too. So, it's one of those things where it's like, like I said, I was able to handle it. I'm still able to handle it. If I wasn't, it would have been put on me. So that's just what it is.
Yeah, no, that's real. Like, I feel that way too about things. Like, if you weren't able to handle it, like, God would have never, quote unquote, blessed you with the situations that you had to go through. So did your mom ever date, like, after your dad?
Yeah, she had 2 boyfriends my whole life. Yeah, she had 2 boyfriends my whole life. I just seen one of them the other day. I don't like him.
I was gonna say, were you fond of either of them?
The first one, I was like 5. So, like, I don't really remember him. I remember he was kind of like weird looking. He like, when I think of him, like literally, like the mental image, I could still vaguely remember, because I'm good with faces. I remember his name and all that. I'm usually not good with names, so I'm really good with faces. What I can remember of him, he just looked like a catfish, but like
I can picture it perfectly.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, he was nice, a little soft. He was a pushover, but respectfully.
I can see why that didn't work out, because your mom is a strong woman.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. She. And then the next one, he at first he seemed mad cool, he seemed mad cool. That was probably when I was like 10. Cause you figure my mom and that dude, the first dude, had broke up by the time like I was like probably like 6. So like that was not long lived at all. And so the second dude, that was probably by the time I was like 10, 11, somewhere around there. And he was cool, like I liked him at first. And then when he started getting loud, raising his voice, and then my mom had told me that a couple times he had grabbed her and shook her. And he never hit her. I'll give him that.
But that's enough.
But that's not really giving somebody something, you know what I'm saying? But that was more than enough. And immediately the instinctual protection instincts started kicking in. And it was just, I'll put it this way. He wanted to marry her, and I told her, I was like, look, if you marry him, he's not going to live very long.
Sam, I don't know if you can say that on YouTube.
Well, that's what I had said at once upon a time. I'm sure the statute of limitations is past.
But also, you did say you just saw him the other day, so clearly
he's fine.
Yeah,
he's fine. He drove away in his car. I won't say if I know what car he drove in. What? No, I wasn't watching him or anything like that once I realized he was there. Nah, he's fine though. Like it is what it is. They didn't get married, so nothing had to happen. So it's all good.
I'm dead. Okay, and then my next question, kind of about your family. Then we'll get more into you. But how was it, or did you ever consider how you had a different, possibly a little more blessed life to have had grandparents that kind of pass things down to you? Because it's a big thing in like our community of not having that and just not having, what's the word? Something wealth.
Oh, generational?
Yeah. So did you ever like consider that? Like, or at what age did you really be like, oh wow, like.
I didn't realize how fortunate I was, especially to have both of them. Probably until I was, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, probably until my like grandfather passed. That's like, I always knew, like I was always grateful for them, you know what I'm saying? I never took them for granted or anything. I was never raised like that. I was always raised, you're grateful for everything, everybody who you know, everybody who loves you, who looks out for you, who prays for you, you know what I'm saying? Who has your best interests at heart, that you need to be thankful for them, you know what I'm saying? So that's just something I have ingrained in me, but I didn't realize how much until he passed. And then I didn't realize again how much until, I mean, you just kind of get out, you see more people who, like, you hear their stories when their parents are divorced, or you hear their stories if they do have a grandparent in their life, or if they, you know, I mean, we put it this way, like as a culture, we all know how it is when somebody may not have their parents in their life, but they raised by their grandmama, you know what I'm saying? There's a certain reputation for that, like, oh, them niggas be wild, or them shorties, they be crazy, or whatever they want to say. So being able to have that balance where I had a mother who cared for me, who prayed for me, you know what I'm saying, who loved me for real, and where I had like both of my grandparents who were also, you know what I'm saying, on the same page. I was able to see a lot of things like structure in a household that normally you wouldn't see in a technically single parent household. Because technically, you know, statistically, that's what I grew up in. But I saw a lot of structure. I saw a lot of love, a lot of care. I saw a lot of positivity. The lessons I was able to, like you had mentioned, that were imparted upon me by my grandparents, just things they told me about how to treat people, about how to look at life, how to always be grateful, how to always, regardless of your situation, like figure out what it is that you do have to work with, be grateful for it, and the fact that whenever you're grateful for something, that'll multiply it as well. Whether that's literally or it's just in the fact and your perception, because perception is everything. You know what I'm saying? They taught me a lot, so I definitely was super blessed. I can't stress that enough. It's something that I'm even still like. You never stop realizing certain things.
Yeah.
It's like some things you just realize more and more. The more people you meet, the more people you talk to who have different experiences. It's like, yeah, you just something. There'll just be those little moments where it's like, okay, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. So for you, how was like the school years and that age time for you? Like, what's a moment right now that just popped in your head that stands out?
Wait, were you saying that time? What time do you mean?
I guess any time from like elementary to high school. I know that's a very wide range, but
as far as when that moment, kind of like one of the moments where it's kind of like, okay, I see what, you know.
Yeah.
Probably by the time I was at my, I guess technically second private school, I was at this Christian private school in West Simsbury, Connecticut. It's really the only one out there, so you know. But so I was out there, and it's like I was one of 4 black people in my grade, right, in my class, and just in talking to a lot of the Caucasian people, actually seeing the people who, you know, they had it like financially, like they never really had to worry about certain things when it came to that stuff, but when it came to their actual home life, you would think that certain things would be lesser because it was a Christian school. Not the case. So when it came to that, like, it was just like that's when I started realizing, like, oh, I was definitely brought up differently, like, and these are the benefits of it. This is why, like, such and such may do certain things that I look at them, I'm like, oh, if I did that in my house, I couldn't do that. And now I understand why. So, like, that, I would say, what was that? Probably, I was like 12. Yeah, around by the time I was like 12, 13. That's when I started, like, really having those moments. I remember. I remember this one kid in particular. I'm not gonna say any names, of course. You know, hopefully he's doing well and all that. But there's this kid who I had encountered out there, and a big thing with him was he just didn't seem to know who he was. And what I mean by that is, like, he was also African American. He was Jamaican American, actually, just like me. So, you know, we found that out first. You know, that's like a bond thing, and then, like, you get to talking more, and it's like, oh, you're different. Okay, cool. Not the way I like. You stay there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I didn't like with him was, like, how he was never just himself. So, like, without elaborating, he would just try to act in a certain way to present himself to the Caucasian people in the way that they would more so stereotypically identify black people as acting. Even though he wasn't from any area like that. Like, he was from a very nice...
He would, like, demean himself.
Right.
To fit how they think.
Minstrel show, tap dancing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When he honestly didn't even come from that. So I never understood
weird.
that. But, like, that it was what it was. And then around, you know, the black people, he would try to be a little bit more, like, if he thought you were more hood, he would try to be more hood. If he thought you were more scholarly, he was just all over the place. And it's one thing to read a room and kind of, like, know your audience and know how you got to give your delivery.
Yeah.
It's another thing to change who you are completely, be like a chameleon, and not the way where you're really being a chameleon. You're just, like, mimicking everything. I was always taught the importance of knowing yourself first, knowing who you are, like, just when it comes to, like, who you are in your family, then knowing who you are, like, knowing that God loves you. So, like, that's who you are. Like, he made you, so he loves you, so you're important. Like, it's just that simple. And then understanding that everything else that falls into what shapes you and molds you, like how you were brought up, all of that stuff you're supposed to be proud of. I'm not saying that's where he was coming from with it, but I'm saying that when I saw that, I interpreted it as either not having the pride, maybe being ashamed of where he came from for real, or maybe he just never had that instilled in him. Either way, I didn't have that experience, and while it was unfortunate to witness in somebody else, I was definitely grateful to see, like, oh, you know, basically, if you don't have that, you'll be out here acting
any old way.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I feel that. So, I feel like you have a lot of, like, confidence. You have a lot of, like the opposite of what that boy had, which was not knowing yourself. When did you realize that you're him and, like, you are who you want to be and you don't have to, like, fit any molds or anything?
Damn. When did I realize? It's like, you know, I always tell people, like, I knew who I was by the time I was 5. Like, and it's the example, the moment that I always think of, it sounds so stupid. And it sounds like fake deep, but, like, it really just resonated with me at that age. And it's like now kind of like understanding what that resonation was and being able to elaborate upon it and articulate it. It's like, oh, that was my first time, like, really realizing, like, oh, I'm in this bit. Like, this is me. This is my life. This is my point of view. Everything that happens from this point on, I need to be in tune with how I impacted, how I affected, whatever the case is. Knowing, being mindful of yourself is one of the best ways to do that. And I was always, like, a really introspective person, like, just from being a kid. Like, that's more so instilled in me from my mother. You know, whenever I do anything, whether it's good or bad, it would just kind of be like, yeah, think about it. Like, why did you do that? Like, how do you feel about it? You know, it was all those healthy parenting tips that you see, like, they recommend you give to kids. Now that I think about it, like, right now in this moment, I'm like, oh, damn, she was doing all of those things. It was like a different delivery, because, you know what I'm saying? Also, I grew up Jamaican mother, you know what I'm saying? West Indian home. So it wasn't always like super coddling in certain ways and shit like that, but like the message still got across regardless. So the example I was about to say that it sounds real stupid. I remember one day I was looking in the mirror, right? And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just looking, I'm like, I know that's me. Like I know that's me. It's my reflection, right? And I know that before. But then like I looked away from the mirror. I'm like looking and I'm trying to look to see myself in the same way that I saw myself in the mirror. Like I'm trying to see myself from the first person point of view. And I realized, well, second person actually. And I was like, I can't. And then I was like, but I can see everybody else from my point of view. And they can see me from that point of view. And I didn't know, again, how to articulate it at that moment, but it like stuck with me and it resonated. And I remember the whole day I was just thinking about it. I was 5. Like I'm literally sitting there just spinning my wheels like, but why can't I see myself how they can see me? Or and vice versa. Like, why can't, that means they probably can't see themselves how I see them. So then what do I really look like? And I started having this whole thing. And then I realized, now I realize, oh, point of view, perspective. Like that was my first moment of like actual self-awareness, like actual self-awareness. And also when I conceptualized, again, in a very rudimentary, crude form, elementary form, I conceptualized that other people also have their point of views, will see me how they see me, and it will never be how I see myself. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, again, it's like, it sounds fake deep as hell, but again, I was 5. You know what I'm saying? I was fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying?
But it's actually realistically deep, like, because it's facts. And, like, I feel like people may go their whole life and never even have that discussion with themselves or that realization with themselves. And that's how people could just be outside wilding, because they really don't understand, like, how you view yourself or believe what you believe about yourself, whether it be good or bad, could be the total opposite of how the whole world sees you. So they're just kind of acting only in the way that they perceive themselves.
It's kind of funny you say that, because it's like I was literally just about to bring up, like, how there's that scientific study that had it was like years ago, they had said that we see ourselves as like 6 times more beautiful than other people see us, like just physically, right? Like when we look in the mirror, like that hormone that goes off in our brain and shit like that, where we're just like, oh wow, we're like fawning over ourselves. It's like, oh, you the shit, you da. It's on average is that we see ourselves 6 times better than other people see us. Then of course you have people with different types of dysmorphias and shit who they see themselves worse. You know what I'm saying? Again, we're still talking about a distortion in reality. We're not talking about perception. We're talking about reality.
Yeah, right.
So the important thing isn't really like what you see, what they see, whatever. It's what are you actually doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why when we get caught up on like stupid shit, like, like superficial shit, like shallow shit, I'm not saying like just about like, how people look and shit like that, but I'm saying like just when it comes to like just like those petty worries and shit like that, when you're just worried about how things look and not how things actually are. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that translates into so many different aspects of our lives, and it's just something that, like you said, a lot of people never really grasp the concept of. And unfortunately, I feel like there's a lot of growth that's left on the table by a lot of people, as a result. So
yeah, no, I feel that, especially as someone who's just kind of coming around to that thought process in the last like 3 to 5 years. It's definitely something that is worth exploring. So good for you for realizing that so young.
Well, shouts out to my mom.
Shouts out to her. I love her. I love her so much. I want to have her on my podcast too, but I wanted to have you first and then have her eventually. But I just she's like really a phenomenal woman, and a lot of people don't have moms like that.
Yeah. I appreciate that. She loves you too. She always be asking about you.
I know.
How's Kwam doing? You talked to Kwam? How's she doing? I'm like, all right, mom. Yeah, I just saw her. She's great. She's doing amazing. She's killing it. You know what I'm saying?
You know how I do. Okay, so let's kind of fast forward a little bit to like older life for you and like the more recent years. What is one of your most recently like best memories or experiences that you can recall?
Recently, one of my best.
In the last like in your 20s, because you're almost out of them.
Yikes! Less than 6 months.
I know we're 5 months away.
Our half birthday just passed.
I know.
Yeah. Best memories from my 20s. I got a lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like,
That's a great thing.
I got a lot.
All right, what's one of them?
Trying to think of like which way to take it. Like, I got like travel memories. I got memories just with like friends and shit like that, where it's just like, wow, this is great. I love my life. This is awesome. You know.
Okay,
like,
let's hear one of those. Cause I've been hearing about travel too much. It's getting kind of boring.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like, side note, I feel like that's one of the least interesting things somebody can tell you about themselves.
Can I tell you, most of my guests all talk about their traveling, which is cool. Like, and I'm not throwing shade, y'all. Y'all know I love y'all.
Respect.
But,
I ain't even. Yeah, I'm saying.
But it's
like
just
that.
like, okay, like I want to hear about, like you
Mm-hmm.
said, stuff that's like, wow, I really love my life.
Trying to think of. I'm trying not to go too recent because I want to still. You know what I'm saying? We got what, 9 years to spend with that. I love my life. Okay. It would probably be probably my first hike with my guys, with my bros, man.
When was your first hike?
Our first hike together, like all three of
together?
us. Yeah, man, like our first hike, when was that? Honestly, it was like probably like 2022, 2021, something like that.
Okay.
Cause you figure, all right, so shout out my niggas, Chance, Cam, you know what I'm saying? Those are my brothers for real. As far as Chance goes, we've been friends since high school, known each other. You know, our mothers known each other since elementary. As far as Cam goes, you know, we had just that's my nigga since 2018, 2019. You know what I'm saying? So we got like what 5-6 years in this motherfucker. So he's actually my newest friend. He's my newest friend. You know what I'm saying? But
I have a follow-up question about that, but continue.
But probably our first hike together, because we've been talking about that for a minute, like talking about it, right? And we finally, because niggas couldn't get Chance's ass off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put my boy out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was dragging his feet. But yeah, we finally got him out there. You know, we out here and just hiking, enjoying life. It's just like mad scenic, mad nice. Going up, we were actually at Talcott, I believe, Talcott Mountain, and you know, that steep ass incline. You know, we're sitting there sweating and shit. It's just like hot as hell, legs burning. But then like I stopped and it's just like, wow, really made this hike with my niggas. Like
I'm alive. We're outside. We can walk. We can breathe.
Yeah. We smelling this great, fresh, crisp air. Like, yeah, we sweating and we, you know, it's we're not enjoying the incline itself, but the fact that we're able to even do this right now together, like it's a beautiful moment. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely a nice moment. It was just like a super simple, nice moment where it's like, wow.
And that's why I feel like sometimes the travel can get like overkill, because it's like not everybody could travel, not everybody has the money to travel, not everybody has like some people are scared of planes, so it's like, how can one just love life and appreciate life in like the simplest way? And I feel like hiking or just being outside is definitely one of them.
Oh my god,
being around outside, trees and grass, it's the
water
best.
too. Water,
definitely water. Very healing.
Oh my god, like one of the things I'm finding out that I really love, like fishing. You know, I've probably been like 7 times in the past like 10 days or something like that.
Oh, I love that
like,
for you.
Yeah, like I literally, like if I have like an extra like 2-3 hours, I'd be like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and string up the rod real quick.
Yeah.
You know, make that stop. Or like I mean, I've been doing this for a little bit now, but gardening. Oh, I love being in my garden.
So fun fact, I mean, I don't want to lie, because I have some people that are going to watch and be like, girl, no you don't. I do a little bit of gardening here and there, but my first ever like introduction to it and like yard work and stuff was at your house with, you know, at your mom's, well, at you and your mom's house back in like high school. And it was like a nice vibe. It's very relaxing. It's just different. It's different than living in the city and in a 2-family house and stuff like that.
And it's like always concrete around. Like, you don't really think like, all right. So like whenever I'm with like my people like you know, or like people who grew up in like the city, like, you know, like New York or some shit, it's like they've never lived in like a house or like a backyard. They'll like comment on certain things with backyards, and I was like, not even have really thought about it, because I was fortunate enough to grow up with a backyard. You know what I'm saying? But like I never really think about it. I think that's dope because it's like it lets me know like, oh, shit, I'm taking something for granted. Because when I really do look, it's like, damn, having a backyard is. You know what I'm saying? Renting as as an adult like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I didn't have a backyard, it's like I don't have a backyard. I can't just go out there. So it's like damn, a whole new appreciation, like for real. Like yeah.
So my follow-up question that I mentioned earlier, and this is the one question I told you I didn't prepare any questions, but I did think of one. How do you make friends as an adult male?
Man, listen, I don't.
Or do y'all not like to make friends?
I'm laughing because I was about to give an answer, and just like how you said, there's gonna be people who watch and be like, please. Man, I know if my bros, like, if they see the two I already shouted out, they see this, I'm about to say this, and they can be like, nigga, you are not friendly at all. But the thing is, it's like, that's not.
Yeah, I don't really.
All right.
Okay, I'm not gonna say you're not friendly. I just think you're reserved.
I'm selectively friendly.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I feel like if we're out in a public space, you're gonna definitely just keep your composure, be like, hi, hello, like that's it. Keep it pushing.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna lie, like I'm the type of person where it's like, and I don't mean no disrespect. Well, it's not about disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Like if you feel some type about it, you really need to toughen up.
Like fight me.
I'm saying do something, like do something, toughen up. Do something to me. But it's like how I see it is like if you don't really pique my interest, like I'm not gonna speak to you. Like, and I don't mean that in a snotty way. Like it's not like, oh, you're all so boring. I can't be bothered. Like, no, it's not like that. It's just like if you don't like, all right, like you said, we out at a bar, we out at general event space, something's going on, right? And like there's like a whole bunch of people, like there's a whole bunch of tables or like a whole bunch of people just around it. Like I'm gonna like if I make eye contact, I'll be like, hey, you know how you doing? Like tell you shit, or like if you're doing something that's interesting to me, like that I'm actually genuinely interested in, then I'll come over and hey, what's up? Like what's that? Or like I'll ask you questions, I'll make conversation with you. Like I don't do small talk. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Why would I ask how your day, like, and people say
why would I ask how your day was?
It's like, that's sounds okay, but like, let's be real, right? People, how many times people be like, hey, how you doing? Keep it walking. Before you even say good.
Yeah.
They just said that shit because it sounded good, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just not going to say shit.
No, I feel that.
If I'm not really trying to ask, how was your day? How are you? I'm not going to ask because I'm not listening.
Yeah.
So I would just rather like just be upfront with that without being obnoxious. I'm not like just like I don't give a fuck about your day, and then I'm walking away like that because then it's like, bro, what's good with you? Are you cool?
Right?
Like, are you cool?
How was your day actually?
Right? Like, it's clearly terrible, and you needed to pass that energy on. But like, no, it's just like if you have on like something I like. If I compliment you, it's a genuine compliment. I'm not trying male or female. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not trying to. If you're a shorty and I'm complimenting you, I'm not trying to get at you. Like, please be so for real. Please be so for real. Like, I'm not trying to get at you, baby. It's not none of that. I seen something, you might got some cool shoes on, some cool jeans, whatever. Like, you put it together right.
You didn't
that's your
compliment
heart.
my shoes.
I just actually looked and I saw it once the like cameras were rolling and shit, and I didn't know how to like slip it in. And I'm kind of mad that you said that because I was actually going to segue into the compliment, but now you kind of did it.
I needed
the thing.
So...
You did the thing. Well, I love your sneakers. I love how you put it together. You know what I'm saying? Really? It's real simple, but
a little slight flex or whatever.
That's some slight, her right here. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
You feel me? So, but yeah, like if I compliment you, like I'm really just passing compliment. I'm going about my day. Like I don't, unless I start further conversation, and if I do, it's going to be very, very specific. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. But then also I understand that a lot of people don't know how to like really like take compliments. They'll think it's weird if you really do just compliment them, like, whatever. It's a lot of reasons why I'll just like read the room. Again, if it doesn't pique my interest.
I also feel like sometimes people equate small talk with friendliness, and they're not the same. Like, no. I feel like, yeah, just because you don't like to do small talk doesn't mean that you're not
Oh.
friendly. I still don't think you're the friendliest person, but I don't think that you're an asshole. Like, I just feel like you said, like, if you want to talk and say something specifically, you will, and then if not, you just will save your breath. And I've grown to be more that way too.
And
I used to be very like da, 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 but now I feel like my words and my energy is very valuable, so it's just like I'm not gonna waste it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Learn from the best.
Because I used to sweet of me.
Not
sweet
you.
of me,
No, I'm
sweet
kidding.
of me.
No, I'm kidding. No, I actually did I did kind of learn that quality from you over time. Even like without speaking, like it just kind of started to grow in me.
And I'm glad it did. I'm glad that you saw that in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all it comes down to. Like you said, it's the value you see in it. Like, I don't just talk for fun. Like, I'm not gonna sit out here and like just be giving my words to motherfuckers just because I got a fucking tongue that works. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm gonna talk to you, I have something to say. If like, and that's just in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I feel like it's worth my time and worth my energy, worth my words, because that is something that is an expression of me. It's not that deep as far as like people, it's not that deep, you know, but it is that deep too. You know what I'm saying? And I see everything with me as that deep. So,
as you should.
You know what I'm saying? It may come off as standoffish, it may come off as whatever, but at the end of the day, it's like, if we do engage, you'll see quickly like, oh, you're cool as like, and even if you don't, I don't really give a but it's like, you know, you will see, like, you feel me, like, hey, it's all good, we all got different tastes, yours might be bad and mine is, you know, great, it is what it is, but you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you'll see like, oh yeah, like, if we have a reason to speak, if we ever have, if we, you know what I'm saying, you know, you'll be like, like, that's him, that's really just how he is, like, so it is what it is, and I'm not changing it for nobody, you feel me, never happened.
And I don't think you should. I feel like, why? Like, why should you?
So that random people will be like, oh, he's so nice. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, literally. And I think that's what I started to like kind of learn over time. It's like, I don't really care if you think I'm nice or not, because I know that I am, and I know that I'm great. So who gives a if these people I don't care about know it, you know? So
exactly.
It'd be like that.
And that's just how it's gonna have to be.
So, Mr. Wu, I feel like we're definitely gonna have to do a part 2. Because our time is coming to an end. Teardrop. But before we go, I wanted you to more in depth like plug your new brand and anything else that you wanted to plug. So
for sure. So yeah, you know, Mr. 910, like I said. Previously it was the Slump Factory.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? That was more so my page for gardening education, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
I cannot with you. But yeah, okay, I see what you
gardening
mean.
Content, you know, plant culinary life. Content, you feel me? You feel me?
Yeah,
you know,
chef life.
Shit like that, you know what I'm saying? With a pot, you heard me. But no pun intended. But
I really hate you so much.
But you know, we got a lot of that. Oh, matter of fact, about to be some expansion on that too though. Cause like about to shift gears a little bit more into the content creating space with some aspects of it too. You know, do a few stream reviews, got a few things in the works, been having a few conversations with people behind the scenes, different dispensaries, some great market providers, resellers, wholesalers, shit like that. I'm gonna bring in some reviews, just to let the people know, like, you know, from my seasoned stoner's perspective, like, look, is this gas or trash? Like,
I love that.
You know, so just something like that, you know, a little bit more to be unveiled about that a little bit later. But, you know, just a little sneak peek. But yeah, 910 Genetics on Instagram, you know what I'm saying, it's 0910 Genetics, right? Or, no, because you should do both, not or, do both. 910, same thing, organics. Right, so like I said, there's some culinary and some gardening contents on there, stuff like that. If you're into that type of thing, if you have a green thumb, or if you enjoy some green, either way, it's all there for you. So
versatile audience.
You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
A little something for everybody in there. And if you don't see something for you, look a little harder because it's there. And if it ain't there yet, hit me up and it'll be there soon.
I love that. Okay, I need to have a smooth plug transition like that. Is there any other places that you want them to follow you? Do you want them to follow your personal or anything? I
mean, I got logged out of my Instagram and it's like,
That makes sense because I definitely sent you a really funny meme and I never got a response.
Call Me Woo, that page?
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, that shit cooked.
And I was like, rude.
That shit cooked. That shit cooked. I cannot access that motherfucker at all. It is, I'm still pulling this out. I just created it the other day. And we being real, I don't really even be caring about this shit for real. But still call me Woo all together. I was like, look, keep it simple.
Funny.
Keep it simple, man. I was like, look, it's still in me now. Listen, it's a continuation, baby. Come on now. Let them know.
It's still in me now.
One day, I already reached out to Instagram. I already reached out to them. They ain't hit me back.
Count your days, Instagram.
Count your fucking days, all right? Because I should still be able to access my Just Call Me Woo page. That's my actual page that I have all my shit on for real. So if you feel so inclined, go check it out. Whatever. There's nothing on there recently, so. Yeah, still call me Woo if you want to see. If not, fuck you. Don't care. No, I'm playing.
He's not. Anyways, let's plug my stuff. So, follow us, guys, at TSO Pot. Well, subscribe to this channel, first of all. Like this video. Comment how you felt about this video. If you were loving this Aquarius synergy.
Yeah, actually. February 8th magic, you know what I'm saying?
You know, the best people were born on the 8th of February, as we all know.
Absolutely.
So yeah, follow us and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram at TSO Pod. We have a Patreon now, so follow that. Subscribe to that. It is a paid subscription platform where you're gonna help support this show. You're gonna help us support going into season 2.
Pay her.
Definitely pay me. It's only $5 a month.
Just give her money.
Just give me my money.
Come on now.
And that is patreon.com, patreon.com/TSO Pod. And I guess that's it. Anything else?
That's all I got. Until next time.
Until next time, you guys. Goodbye.